This is my worst sketchbook yet. You know when a video starts out with a sigh, it's gonna be a banger. I didn't want to make this sketchbook tour at first because I'm not particularly proud of this sketchbook. You see, this is a sketchbook I drew in while I was having a period of art block. Now this period of art block lasted really long enough to finish this sketchbook with. And I'm not particularly proud of the art that I've made inside of this sketchbook, but I thought it'd be important to show it to you anyways, which is why I'm making this video. Now inside this sketchbook, I've tried various ways of tackling art block, different techniques that I've learned in order to boost my creativity, albeit temporarily, generate new ideas, and just try to maintain a playful nature while drawing. So let me show you what's inside the sketchbook. Alright, so let's just jump right into it. This is the MD notebook in B6 size, and it's 176 pages. So it is quite a substantial notebook. It's pretty thick, and it comes in this paper sleeve. So let me just take out this insert. Alright. So that's what it looks like without the cover. And this is made by Midori, the same company that makes the Traveler's Notebook. So this paper is basically the same paper as you would see in a Traveler's Notebook. This is called the MD Notebook. It's not specifically called the MD Sketchbook, but I found that the paper was more than adequate for drawing on. And I think, in my opinion, one of the best papers to draw with, even though it doesn't specifically say for artists, it's just a blank notebook. It's really smooth. So if you like using lots of inks like me, it's great because the ink doesn't soak itself into the paper very easily. So it feels very saturated. Like the ink looks a lot more saturated on this paper than most other papers just due to its lack of absorbency. The downside is that inks take quite a long time to dry, and I do smudge a lot with this paper. You just have to be patient. I started this in December of 2022, and well, I'll just show you what the end date is. It's February 2025. So this took me 2 years to finish. It's a big sketchbook, first of all, but also I was in a bad time, like just creatively speaking and sort of mentally. Art block isn't just something that lasts a week or two and then you do a bunch of things and then you come out of a funk. It lasts quite a long time, and for me this was about a better part of a year and a half where it just sort of starts okay, that's the arc, and then you sort of taper downwards and you're in that funk for a really long time, and then there's like another slow taper back out into where you're okay again and you feel good about your art. But it takes a while. These are drawings from my Patreon. So if you've seen are a member of the Patreon, you would have certainly seen these sketches where we've done like world building projects together. This was done for a project called Mythical Creatures Reimagined, and I reimagined a golem, or golem, I think. No, golem. Golem is the Lord of the Rings one. And imagine it as like a mech that's made out of like ceramic and like pottery. And it's done all in a fountain pen in this wonderful ink. It's the same idea where there's like a lot of ideation sketches and notes. Here, just some figure drawing. And here's where the art block starts to set in. So I was in like a weird period of my life where I spent 2 years working on a movie only to have it cancelled. And that was not great. That wasn't fun for anybody. But I've had a really bad period of like a history of getting movies getting cancelled or working on projects that have been cancelled. So I've been working as a concept artist for, I want to say, a collective like 6 years. And of those 6 years, 4 years now of my life has been working on things that have been cancelled or shelved or put on ice and will most likely never see the light of day. So just working on it for 2 years and only to find out that, oh, it's cancelled, nobody's ever gonna see this again, say goodbye, and to be like let go from that project on quite short notice. That was really rough for me. Not just from an emotional standpoint, because losing a job after 2 years, that's not great, but also from a creative standpoint because I put a lot of myself into that project. And just then coming out of it, it's just like, what now? You've been in like this dark room for 2 years, and then you come out of it and it's just like it's just a bit of a shock to the system. And so like I was like creatively spent And I was just looking for the next thing to do, I think a little bit too soon. Like I tried rushing into new projects, new work, blah, 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 blah. But I was just so done with making art for like that period of time. And nothing I made seemed to be good. Like I wasn't happy with any of this stuff. So I've just been flipping through a bunch of stuff without talking about it, simply because I don't find it worth talking about from an artistic point of view. It was just like me trying to come back out of that groove, or working myself out of that groove. And to be fair, I don't think that worked really well. Again, this book took 2 years to finish, so clearly it wasn't the most effective way of doing it. But I think that for me at the time, it just felt like the right thing to do. So this whole section here was just a lot of me experimenting with different things. So you'll see me shading with like orange ink, and drawing with this 4-colored pencil, which is really lovely. I really like this pencil. So shading with this colored pencil and doing some portrait drawing with it, just finding different like combinations of materials, just to be finding that playful spirit again of just experimentation, and just like, you know, final result be damned, just try out different stuff, just do different things and see if that makes drawing a little bit more fun, and make, hopefully it looks good enough that I'm somewhat proud of the art. That was sort of my strategy for working myself out of this art block. And then I started doing figure drawings again. So I went to a local figure drawing session. I haven't done figure drawing in so long. So I just joined again and started doing these figure drawings. This was my first figure drawing as I have no idea how long I've done it. So these were just like little pen, probably like 2-minute sketches. These were probably longer poses, maybe 5 minutes, possibly 10 minutes, and just like using a lot of ink and working in Sketchbook and being comfortable in this medium. Eventually I worked my way up to using like, you know, charcoal and pencil on like larger pieces of paper. This was like probably a 20-minute pose with a 4-colored pen. But like for now, it was just like, okay, let me just feel comfortable drawing again and just be happy with like my little sketchbook world. More of the same model. These were probably longer poses, like 15-minute poses. So this you probably would have seen in the a previous video about art block as well. It's called How to Start Drawing. And the idea is to just start with blobs and just draw blobs, and to get into this habit of the physical act of drawing and putting pen to paper. And like, I don't have to think about design. I'm not thinking about story. I'm not thinking about like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and try to draw something really cool and really complicated. It's just lowering the stakes, lowering it to be so low that this is adequate. Like, just do this and be happy with this. And once you've done this, if you don't want to go any further, that's fine. Just move on with the day, come back tomorrow. And so eventually the blobs turn into spaceships, right? You take the shapes, you add a wing here, you add something here, and eventually becomes something that is a little bit more tangible. This was done over the course of a few days, I think 3 or 4 days of drawing. It was just like, I didn't want to do anything, so I had to like force myself to just draw like half an hour a day, 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. Here again, these are just more doodles. Looking at just like some cable details from some model making stuff, but that was just like where I was at here in my sort of like creative energy. It was just like, I can't be bothered to draw like a lot of stuff in a page. Here's the thing, it's like, I give up. All right, then the next day I draw another small thing, and that's the page. You know, I don't have to fill it up. Not every page needs to be this crazy, you know, beautiful page. Here is some figure drawing. I think this was done from reference pictures. I don't recall having a model for this one. So same with these. I think these were stills from movies. This one too, that's Leon the Professional, and that is Titane. More figure drawing from reference photos. So basically, if I don't know what to draw, I would just automatically default to figure drawing, because I feel like that's always something that you can always improve on. Like, you can always get better at figure drawing. So if I don't know what to do, I'll just pull up like Shot Deck or Pinterest or Lines of Action or any sort of figure drawing site, and just use that and just copy, just start drawing what I see. That's Christopher Walken. I prefer figure drawing from movie stills, because that to me it just feels a little bit more natural, especially if you screenshot them halfway through motion like that. It doesn't feel as posed, whereas stuff like this can feel a little bit posed because they're holding still for a picture. But in movie stills, they're usually in motion and they're just captured partway through that action. And then that pose ends up looking a lot more natural. Here are just some more Mac Doodles. I kind of like this stuff here. It's kind of nice. I don't mind this one. This is pretty good. Here are 30-second poses. These are done from a figure drawing class as well. So a figure drawing session, I mean. So 30-second poses, really quick, just as fast as you can, right? So before you even are able to think, you just have to get the gesture down. It's all instinct. Then we slow down to minute poses, and then 2-minute poses. And here I'm trying to use pencil, starting to use pencil again. 2-minute poses again, and then 5-minute poses, and that's it. I have longer poses that are in on larger pieces of paper, but for now, like these quick ones, they belong in the sketchbook. And like, it's so easy to go through, blast through pages of a sketchbook if you just do figure drawing, because like 30-second poses, that's like 2 minutes and you're done with a page. You move on, another 2 minutes, 5 minutes of drawing here, 10 minutes of drawing, and you've done like 4 pages of drawing. So it's a good way to get a lot of volume down without too much effort, I guess. So this was a Polaroid photo that I took by accident, and it looks kind of cool, right? It looks like a dune at night, but it was my shirt. I accidentally just hit the shutter on one of those Instax Fujifilm cameras, and it took a picture of, like, with the flash on my shirt, and like I think some reflective piece of like a cup or something like that, and it looks like dunes at night. I thought it was pretty cool, so I left it in here. Okay, so a lot of my strategy for dealing with art block is to also just draw things you like. Max being one of them, as you can see from the copious amounts of mechanical things in this book. But also, I really like aye-ayes. They're such a cool animal. They're critically endangered because of well, they're poached because they're symbols of bad luck. So superstition is that if you see an aye-aye, it means you're gonna die or encounter bad luck unless you kill it. So whenever like the natives of like Madagascar see it, they have to kill it. They're critically endangered, not for that reason, but mostly due to habitat destruction. But they're my favorite animals. They're so weird looking. They always just look like they just got out of bed, you know? So I really love the way they look. Also very difficult to capture the essence of an aye-aye or AA. Yeah, I just love these guys. Look at how weird this thing looks, like a goblin. And here is another figure drawing. This was from a figure drawing class I had where the model was doing shibari. This one, it's weird. Sketchbooks kind of have like, do you know what I mean when sketchbooks have like a cursed page? You know, some pages just aren't super enticing to draw in. Like you just don't feel like, some pages you draw a really nice drawing and you go, oh, that's great, I want to draw more and fill up this page. Some pages, for some reason, it's just inherent in its quality that makes you not want to draw on it. So I drew this thing here and then I was like, okay, it's not bad drawing, it's fine, but like compositionally, for some reason, I didn't want to draw on the rest of this page. I just couldn't bring myself to draw it. Nothing felt right. I tried drawing this little bust of a lady and it's like, you know what, I don't want to draw on this page for some reason. It just felt bad. And so I just left it. Here is a study of a J.C. Landecker painting. Just trying to capture the angular forms of like his drapery. I really love, I mean, anyone who's seen any of J.C. Landecker's work will know how amazing he paints fabric and just like drapery and the folds of clothing and how angular all his shapes are. So I really love that, and I was trying to just study that a little bit. This is a picture I took in France. I printed this picture out onto one of those like label printers. So the France story is kind of weird because there's a huge gap in between this page and this page. There was probably like a 4-month gap, which kind of explains why this sketchbook took so long to finish. But there was a period of about 4 months where I did not touch this sketchbook. Like I didn't draw at all. Like physically, I couldn't do it. Like I just did not want to draw. So I went to France for the NSA Film Festival. I went there to see some colleagues and friends and just like travel and also to climb in Fontainebleau. I went there hoping to sort of refresh myself. I just needed a change of pace. I needed a change of like location. Just something, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna get a bunch of inspiration. So here's the deal. I was heading to France looking for some serious inspiration. Not just the iconic landmarks, but the whole vibe of the city. The art, the cafes, the energy. But as I'm packing, one thing hits me. How am I gonna stay connected over there? I need to be able to share my photos, find my way around, and stay in touch with people back home. The last thing I want is to spend my time hunting down public Wi-Fi spots or standing in line at the airport for a SIM card. And then I remember Saily, the eSIM service that's gonna save me all that hassle. It's brought to you by the same creators of NordVPN, so I already know it's gonna be good. With Saily, I can activate my eSIM and get connected right away. No waiting at the airport, no lines, no sketchy vendors. With coverage in over 190 countries, that's right, 190 countries, and 8 regions, I can jump from Paris to Lyon or wherever else I end up, all with the same plan. Plus, I'll never have to waste time looking for public Wi-Fi again. With Saily, I'm always connected no matter where I am. And here's the best part. Saily keeps my privacy safe too. I can browse with peace of mind, changing my virtual location, blocking those annoying ads, and getting extra protection from any sketchy websites. Unlock an exclusive 15% off your Saily eSIM data plan. Just download the Saily app and use the code CHROMAMOMA at checkout to save big time. Thanks again to Saily. And then I brought with me this sketchbook. It's a thinner version of the MD notebook. It's the slimmer, thinner version of this sketchbook. It's the same size, B6. And I brought this with me hoping to, do some drawing. I was, amongst a lot of other artists and amazing people, and then looking at great art. I drew. So this was the 1st of June, 2024, last year. So it was during like around the period of the Olympics, and I drew this many pages. That's it. This isn't even a page of drawing. I did 1, 2, let's say 3 pages of drawing. I was there for 2 weeks. I did 3 pages of drawing. I came back. I felt even worse than before. I was like, oh my god, what am I doing? This sketchbook is still empty and is yet to be completed, by the way. But I had to come back to this one. So to celebrate my return to the sketchbook, I printed out a picture that I took while I was in France. So this drawing is something you would have seen if you've seen the video. Should you go to art school? I'll link the video up here. It's a pretty great video. So I experimented with using fountain pen inks in brush pens, and that was done with the high-tech C. Same here, it's the same exact ink, but look how different that looks. Because fountain pen inks are weird. If you find out more, watch the video. This is done in brush pen, and more brush pen drawings. And then this one was just like, I tried to just draw, again, things I like. So Formula 1 stuff, I really love Formula 1. I just tried drawing like a little like pit stop scene a la Kim Jong-gi with the brush pen. I would not call this drawing very successful, but I was just like, let me just try something out and like have the stakes be so high that I would fail no matter what. Try and draw something like Kim Jong-gi and go into it expecting to succeed feels like a futile task. Like there's no way. So if you're gonna fail anyways, then failure be damned, just do it and have fun and just free yourself. Like I freed myself of the burden of succeeding because there was no way. So whatever the outcome was, it didn't matter. Here is another one with the same experiment of the fountain pen ink in the water brush. Here's another one of those dead pages. Some pages is just like, it's so ugly, like these drawings. There's space on the page, but sometimes it's better to move on, really. Same here, just trying to experiment with like these black shapes and mannequin drawings. Same here with more mannequin drawings for figure drawings. Just going back to basics. Like once again, the default is to go back to figure drawing, and again just going back into mannequin drawings just to try and solidify that foundation a little bit more. Here, I guess this is a little bit of an experiment where I tried drawing with red ink and then shading that with the green ink that I used previously, and just seeing what that looks like, you know, trying out weird color combinations and things I wouldn't have tried before. I sort of like written off this sketchbook a little bit, where I figured this sketchbook wasn't going to be one of my nicer sketchbooks, you know. There's gonna be a lot of like this stuff going on, and a lot of like empty pages like this, and just bad drawings in general. So I was sort of freed from the idea of making good art, and that's probably the reason why I sort of hesitated to make the sketchbook tour to begin with, because there's an element of shame to like, oh, like look at me, you know, YouTuber artists, you gotta draw good in order for people to watch your videos. But it's like, nah, that's not true, man. People draw bad stuff all the time. I mean, I do, for sure. Having said that, this is kind of a good page. It's not bad. I don't hate this one. Art block isn't just like, you fall into the rut of art block and then you just stay there like the whole time and you come back out of it. Although that is the general like macro trend. You're down in your art block like period, but then there's like little flashes of like inspiration or like flashes of like creativity, and you go, oh, that's feeling pretty good today. Then there's a week of like just not feeling good, and oh, there's another little spike. And as you are trending up towards, you know, being okay again, towards normality, it's less of like a straight linear trend as it is more spikes. And these flashes of inspiration and creativity just start to get more frequent, and they're getting of better quality. So this is one of those moments where like, yeah, I'm still in a bit of a rut, but there is like the occasional moment of like creativity. There's an occasional burst of energy, and I go, oh, I'm gonna draw something really good. Well, it's not really good, but like it's compared to everything else, this is pretty decent. And then it's back to like this kind of weird stuff. And again, like I didn't care about making it look good, so I just drew like a lot of really weird shapes, things I normally wouldn't try. There's a really great quote, I think it's by Willem Dafoe, the actor, and he says like, don't try to make the best choice, try to make the most interesting choice, because more often than not, that is a far more compelling decision than just making the best choice. So I took that to heart, and I just tried making stuff as like, okay, well, what's the most interesting thing I could do here? Or like, what's the weirdest thing I could do here, right? Or try to make the most wrong decision versus like, okay, I could make something look nice and generic and like kind of like sci-fi-y, and it'll look pretty good. But like, where's the fun in that? Like, that's not compelling to, well, me as an artist making it, and hopefully you as the viewer. These are studies from a painting called Jupiter in the Guise of Diana and Castillo. It's a really beautiful painting. I just did not do it justice. It's painted in like a circular or oval composition or frame. So I thought it was really cool. When I don't know what to do, I either default to figure drawing, number one, and number two, master drawings. So master studies, the Lay and Decker one was one of them. These are, I think some of these are from paintings as well. I think this is from a Velasquez, but that's sort of like where I default to. This one as well, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. These are faces from like James Jeans. I recently acquired his new postcard set called Mamu 3. So I was just studying faces from that. I love the way he draws like these like really almost infantile faces. You know, they're really great. Here's another drawing that felt like it was appropriate to just leave the rest of the sketch, like this page, blank, like empty. I feel like sometimes when it comes to sketchbooks, it's okay to just leave a page empty. Like, I don't want to do it. It feels like a waste because, you know, I mean, I could sketch something in here, but if I were to just follow my gut feel and just listen to like, okay, what does this page need? It needs nothing. It needs emptiness. So that's why I haven't drawn anything on that one. This one too, this was a Velasquez study. I think it was like an archbishop or a deacon or something like that, drawn on this 4 colored ballpoint pen. Yeah, I just got this piece of paper and I thought it was really beautiful. I just love the print and the translucency. So I thought I drew it and I stick it in here. Okay, so here's another one of my strategies for tackling art block, or making it feel a little bit more tolerable. So filling up a page, like a whole page, can feel intimidating, or at the very least, it just feels like a lot of work. So what I do is I portion out my sketchbooks into little frames, right? So I'll start with a frame like this, and I'll just fill it because that's like manageable. Like I can wrap my head around drawing this little frame. It's smaller than a post-it note, way smaller, like a postage stamp. And then I'll draw another frame and I'll fill that in with something else. And I go, okay, that's good. Let's move on to the next one. And I'll draw a bunch of frames and then I'll fill it in. And before I know it, I've done a whole page's worth of drawing without feeling like I have. It's kind of like eating sushi, where you go a little piece here, a little piece here, a little piece here, a little piece here. And by the time that meal is done, you've probably eaten an entire bowl of rice and an entire bowl of fish. But it doesn't feel like it because it's portioned out into these small little bite-sized pieces. And that's what this is. And here, you know, I drew this frame here. I was like, okay, actually, I kind of want to extend this frame a little bit more. I kind of feel like this is too small. So then I added another square and I just extended back into this, you know, just drew it into this frame here. And slowly, when you put this together, it feels like it kind of makes sense. It feels like there's a theme here when things are put next to each other. That's what we call juxtaposition. But that's how the human brain works, right? We work in gestalts. Even if I wasn't trying to, and I am not, absolutely, just doing one at a time, it sort of like turned out to be pretty cohesive. Here, back again to the bad stuff. One of the things I like to do is just look at Pinterest and just draw whatever I see on Pinterest. Because like, I don't want to think of an idea. I don't want to have to think of a design and then like do it. And then it's just like, I just don't feel like doing it. So I just go on Pinterest and I look at stuff and I take bits and pieces from things I like. And I either copy them straight up. I don't think these are, but I either do that or I just take pieces and elements of it that I find are cool and then I just modify it. But like, make no mistake, 90% of this is just like stuff taken from Pinterest, and like I just tweak like 10% of it. These are helmet sketches. I think this is a Till Freitag design where I think it's just this helmet and then I just extended the body just as a design exercise. These are just like helmet sketches that I saw. I believe these are also from Pinterest, although I don't recall the artist's name. This one is just a little drawing of my own. And slowly, I think by this time, I'm starting to work my way out of this funk. I'm happy to say that I'm not in an art block anymore, so I'm good. Just to sort of honor the story of the sketchbook, I just, you know, it's now the figure drawing sketchbook. So anytime I want to do figure drawings, I would just use the sketchbook. And here it's done with the 4-color pencil. And look how beautiful these turned out. These look great. This was done with Lines of Action, the website. But I just love the way the color turns and changes as the line goes. I really, really love, and I really enjoy drawing with that pencil. Here's another page of 2-minute poses. I think this particular drawing, this one here, might be the best drawing I've done in this sketchbook. There's just something really, really nice about the flow of these lines. So I think this might be my favorite drawing in the entire sketchbook, and it's a 2-minute pose. So working my way out of this funk, working my way slowly coming back and feeling good, and you'll see that like now onwards, the pages look good. They start to look a lot better. Here's drawing my favorite Pokemon. I love Tangela. Tangela's my favorite Pokemon. Again, drawing things I like. More helmet sketches. These are done in a brush pen. In an effort to get my ink to dry faster, I use a hair dryer. Little did I know, and again, we've talked about this, the paper on this sketchbook is really not absorbent. So the ink just sits on top of the paper and you have to wait like forever for it to dry, especially if it's something really wet like a brush pen. So yeah, I just started blowing the ink all over the place. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And so I started playing with it. And I got some really, really cool lines out of it. You know, these are weird. But this one isn't so bad. I think this is pretty cool. Here's another page where I divided it into frames again, but this time instead of using brush pen for an accent color, I used our favorite character, the 4-colored pencil, just to add some tone and some like accents to it. And I dig it. I like this page a lot. Here are studies of Klimt. Gustav Klimt is probably my favorite pencil sketcher. He's so good. He's so good at drawing on pencil. So I just try to study a little bit of his, capture his essence. It's so difficult to draw like Klimt. I wish one day. These are, again, figure drawings, 3D poses from lines of action again. This time trying to shade with my bright green brush pen, just to see if I can, you know, get some like tones. Treating it like gray, I guess, and shading in bits and pieces of shadow, and trying to see if I could make that work. I think it turned out okay. I don't know if green is the best color for this, but we try, we experiment. And again, because this sketchbook is already ruined in my eyes, I'm free to do whatever I want to it. Now this is another one of those pages. I think this is pretty great. I guess I had this really weird dream, and I had sleep paralysis. It wasn't a dream, I had sleep paralysis. And I came out of it, I was like, okay, is that what it feels like to be under anesthesia? I've never gone under anesthesia, so I don't know what it feels like. So this is my interpretation of what that feels like. And just thinking about, from a technical standpoint, thinking about the sketchbook as a painting, I guess. Thinking about the compositional arrangement of stuff. So it's just down this diagonal, right? Not every sketchbook page has to be like filled to the brim with like tons and tons of drawings, tons of sketches. Sometimes you can just treat it as like almost like an illustration or like a canvas, and you can work out like a nice composition for it. Speaking of which, another one, this one, I have no idea what this is about, but it felt really nice to just leave this blank again. It's one of those like the same one with the girl on the lady with the sword. There's something about some drawings that just sort of demand empty space. This is one of them, so I did this first. I was like, oh, that's really nice. I don't want to draw anymore on this page. And then I did that. This one again, so I got my red ink into a brush pen, so I started shading with that, and I kind of like it, you know. I think it's cool. Just finding different accent colors, you know. I have orange and green and blue and the 4-colored pencil, and now red. I still have that inked up, so you're gonna see a lot of drawings with like red accents. I was looking at this thing, it's called a whistling jar. It's like a musical instrument. It's really cool. On like one end of the jar, there's this guy, so this is a hole, and presumably wind comes out this way. There's a carving of this man here, and so I thought that was really cool, and I tried to take elements of that and put it into a mech. I don't think it was a very successful job. I'm kind of like deep into Peruvian and South American like artifacts in general, just like these ceramics. I'm gonna do this authentically. So this to me just feels a little bit shallow, as in like this mech, because I'm just taking like some surface details and surface elements and just like replicating it and just like copy pasting it in here without truly understanding why some things are the way they are. This is gonna require a lot more study on my part just to feel like I'm doing it justice. And I hate this word, but to make it feel authentic, because that to me just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. And also, I just don't think it looks very good. We're in the home stretch of the sketchbook. These are more IIs. Again, just going back to it, I just love this animal. This is one of my most successful II drawings. I think I really captured that like frazzled look. You know, if you just put a cat in a washing machine and you took it out, don't actually do that. But that's what it would look like, and I would look like that if you took not a cat, like a monkey and put it on like a spin cycle. That's what a II looks like. Another sketch with the 4-colored pencil. This is a big helmet one, and here again, just a little character drawing with the red. And that's it. That's actually the end of the sketchbook. So I have actually 3 pages of empty page here. So I was actually debating whether I should actually fill this up. And I know I should, right? Conventional wisdom tells me that I just should finish up the sketchbook. It's empty page, it's paper. But I felt like I was so done with this sketchbook. I felt like I couldn't draw anymore. I spent 2 years with this sketchbook and I was just so done with it, you know. I felt good at the end of this, coming out of the sketchbook, right? Like these last few pages, I wanted to carry that momentum off into like whatever other projects I'm working on, and just working on this book, like drawing in here, it just sort of reminded me of like how bad this entire like period felt. And so by the time I was like kind of like out of this, it's almost like the end of a race. The last like 100 meters of like a marathon just feel the hardest because you can see the finish line. Or more aptly, if you want to go to the toilet and you hold it in until you see the toilet. The moment you see that door, you go, "Ugh," and then your bladder just like loosens itself a little bit. That's how I felt towards the end. I go like, oh my god, it's at the end. I'm gonna give up. So that's what it was. And I was like, okay, you know what? If you want to give up, just give up. It's fine. And I called it. I called it with 3 pages left to go. I hope you enjoyed this sketchbook tour. I felt like it was important to make this video, even if I didn't want to, because I think it's an important reminder that everyone sucks at art. Even the great masters, professionals, they make bad art, and more often than you think. I think in the age of the internet and people sharing their art online, we have this illusion that everyone just constantly makes bangers, everyone just constantly making good art. And that's not the case, because they're only sharing their good art. And we might intellectually understand that. Like, we might know that, like, of course, not everyone is perfect. Like, no one is perfect. But on a subconscious level, because of how constantly exposed we are to everyone's highlights, well, we sort of expect that every piece of art we make is gonna be shareable on Instagram. It's going to be good. So I hope that in watching this sketchbook tour, you'll find some solace in the fact that it's okay to make bad art. It's totally normal, and in some cases, encouraged. And at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And the more art you make, the more bad art you make. I'm curious, have you been through a particularly bad stint of art block? And what have you done in order to get past that hump, or just, I don't know, make it more manageable? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. This is the honorable mentions for the best art book of 2025. Dude, what's this for? You know, this is so stupid. Let's talk about what you need to learn how to draw in order to be able to draw mechs and robots. I got this book for $2 at a bargain bin. Can you believe it?